Alright guys, good morning. You're looking at a small area of the race board there, mainly because I'd like to explain a few things about an alternative movement system that I've been developing alongside the normal game. And this system is very fun. It's different, but essentially it's kind of leads to the horses working this in the same way. It's hard to explain, but what I'll do here is, here in front of you you've got I've made five kind of small stacks, 1 2 3 4 5, yep, of the remaining horses that have qualified through the qualifying round in the Saratoga 1 mile tournament. So there's 60 horses here, and I roughly divide them into 5 stacks, and I've shuffled each of them, and I'm going to draw the 2 horses from each stack for the first quarter final. So the 60 horses will go into 6 races of 10. The first 3 qualify into the semi-finals, so there'll be 18, and then in the semi-finals the first 4 will qualify to the 8 horse final. So let's just get this done, so then I can have some horses to show you the movement system. Okay, so we'll start with this first stack here, and I'm going to randomly shuffle it, and then I'm going to draw 2. So we'll do it on 3. 1 2 3. Okay, so we're going to have Heartache Avenue, Wide Runner, and we're going to have Miss Chocolate, Latoya Latimer. Nice horse there. So that's the first 2 for the first quarterfinal. So I hope you all had a good weekend. It's quite sunny here. Went for some Mexican food last night in Dublin. Always very nice. Okay, so we'll draw 2 here. Night Flight from Los Angeles, Leroy Jenkins. Late Runner, Billy Gold, The Apprentice. Okay, so that is 4 horses. This is the third stack. Yes, I think you're going to like this new movement system because, well, for various reasons. One, there's more dice rolling. You know how we like dice rolling. The movement system is more streamlined. It has less problematic kind of episodes. There are a couple of points that you can get unstuck with. Let's just draw these 2 here. Snoopy's Risk, one of my favorites. Can you see that? Oh, that's the camera. Ricky Schultz, Bay Colt. Acid Cat. I'm not sure if you've seen this one yet on the channel. Front Runner, very fun horse. Chuck Lancer rides Acid Cat. Cool. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, I want to get this done because I want to explain these dice. Thanks very much for subscribing, everyone. New subscribers, I really appreciate it. Obviously I'm not doing this for money or anything. It's just sort of show the design process really, and hopefully get some games made for the community. Here's Last Gunner, very dangerous horse indeed. Probably one of the favourites for the tournament. And I'll just give it a little shuffle. We'll draw this one. Lady Cinnabar. She is a new horse. Valentina Oni. I think she's from Italy. And now we have the last 2. give it a little shuffle. Okay, Ixo Swan. This is one of the Japanese runners. Kim Hon Fei rides Ixo Swan. Polytrack specialist, 4-year-old. And here's Mocha. Now you might have remembered Mocha in that race I did earlier, a few videos ago. Blinkered, a runner. Okay, that's the first 10. Okay, so let's pick up one of these horses here. Let's pick up Snoopy's Risk. So you see here, let's get this on the camera. Got some reflections here. See here it says speed, okay? And you've got here 5, 3 and 5. So the first number is in the first 2 furlongs. The middle number is the middle part of the race. And the 5 is the last 2 furlongs. So that's how he generally runs. He's got a gallop there of 5. Okay, so he's good galloper through the middle of the race. And if the kick comes up on the chart, which is like at the 2 furlong marker, the middle results, I'll get to the charts later, but the middle results often have a kick, kind of multiplier or an addition. And Snoopy's Risk has got a good kick there. He's ridden by the apprentice Ricky Schultz, and he's from Tampa Bay, Florida. B rated better. Right. What I want to talk about is, you may have seen on the thumbnail the dice. Okay. So we have green dice. Okay. And okay, let's not talk about that one for a second. The dice here have got stickers on their faces. Okay. So this is the green ones dice. Okay. So where a horse has a 1, so let's look at Lady Cinnabar here. See this 1 here on her speed? That is equivalent to this die. So it's not an automatic 1 movement now on the board. This die will be rolled, and this die, actually it won't be that die, it'll be this die. This is the die that's used when there's only 1 1. Okay. So it has different numbers on the faces. So this has got a 1, 1, 1, a 2, a blank, and a wide. Okay, so where there's a 1 by itself, it's this. This always has to be included in any of the green dice being rolled. So this will be the first one of 1, and if it's a 2, for instance, here's Leroy Jenkins with a 2 on the heart. He'll have this one, which always has to be included, okay, and another green one. And the normal green ones have got 1, 2, 3, 4 ones and 2 blanks, okay. So it's possible that on a roll of heart for Leroy Jenkins, he can get his 2 moves, okay. He could get possibly only 1 move. He could get a nothing, a blank and a wide, where the horse has to go wide. Okay, instead of moving forward, he's going to go wide. Or he could get a particularly good run and get the single face that's a 2 and a 1 on the other one. So he could actually go 3 instead of the 2. Now the reason for this system is the whole time I've been developing the game, I haven't been entirely happy with the fact that these numbers on here, although they are very important and they are a key part of the game, and it shows you how strong the horse is essentially, but they are kind of like automatic moves of, say, 5 here, gallop 5, and it seemed to never change. And so in racing, you know, there's lots of things that can change, and in the last few races I introduced this lanes die to try to make the spaces more difficult to pass through. But I wasn't entirely satisfied with this system here. So I've now changed to the numbers on the die, on the cards, being equivalent to a type of die that is rolled for their movement. So a horse can overperform on its move. It can move on an average of 5, for instance, here, or it can underperform on its move. And that may be because the lanes are filled. Horses are difficult to pass. Traffic on the turns, whatever reason, the horse is not able to fully extend itself to its move. And so there's a fun random element to a horse that's in position on the board, whereas before he would automatically move, say, 5 spaces, and you could see that was the move. Now there's the unknowing of what is going to happen, and so there's that kind of additional anticipation of like fun, if you like. So we're now up to the quarterfinals, and I think the last time I saw you was the 17th race. So the last 3 races I've run with this system, and I think it is better, and also it takes away a lot of the unknowing what to do when the horse comes up to another horse with jockey bonuses. I'll explain that in the race. Before, I had jockeys automatically defending against other horses that had their bonuses on. Now the horses will go through, and jockey bonuses are used primarily for going forward. They're not used in defense. Only the defensive barrels, which are for the leaders, are used in defense. And when a horse is going wide, in other words, he's doubling his area of track just to impede the horses coming past him, is the now defense. And that is always a choice for a jockey result or a jockey barrel. They can always go wide instead of advancing. But now the game will force a horse wide under certain circumstances, namely on this die here. Also, there's this, so when there's a jockey bonus, as before, so you must forgive me as I'm trying to explain this, because I haven't really explained all of the rules before, so you're getting bits and pieces of the rule set, and at some point in the near future I'm going to, because I have to rewrite sections of the rules and restructure some of the charts and things like that, but I'm bringing you all along for the ride, and I'm not holding anything back. I'm showing you the whole process of the development of the game, and by the time we get to the end of the process, you'll have this racing game yourself, okay, with all of the horses, all of the tracks, all of the charts, all of the rules, all of the stuff. Okay, it's kind of my present to the community, and I'm bringing you along for the whole show, the whole development show, to kind of give you an insight into like what goes on, and we have some fun along the way. This die here, okay, so if you may remember, at the beginning of every furlong I roll these dice, which are a normal red, yellow and green d6, okay, with this group die. Okay, now this hasn't changed. So for instance, if it came up like this, so we're looking at all the horses, so from the green group backwards, essentially, the leader, which is in box 1, would get a green barrel. Okay, now in effect this green barrel is now translated to a green die. Okay, this double here on the 6 is the equivalent of a red barrel. Okay, now that hasn't changed, but when the horse is going to be activated that has a red barrel, that red barrel is converted to the red die. Okay, so now we have red dies, yellow dies and green dies. Okay, so the jockey bonuses give you these dice as movement. So instead of a set 3 for instance, on a yellow, how it was before, there's now 2 1s, 2 2s, and 2 3s. Okay, so as you've noticed, they're not always going to run to their full strength because there are horses all around them. Under pure running conditions, a horse will run straight through the box. If there's horses on the track, then they're not always going to have a clean run. So so this is now kind of migrated into these, okay, and this you're never going to know what it's going to come up as, okay, so you can't really plan to the nth degree all of the moves. Okay, the horses and the track and the kind of game system is going to kind of throw you curveballs all the time. And so also the movement, I wasn't entirely happy with horses making huge moves all the time. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. And so this is also a kind of a suppression technique to bring the horses down to smaller, more micro moves rather than like big moves. Like, okay, big moves happen in the last 2 furlongs because you've got horses coming from the wide, horses going down the rail, but generally these dies are going to rein the horses in a bit. So I'm pleased about that as well. So this is them. This is the red die. Now I'm going to talk quickly about this one with the gold numbers on with the 6. Okay. Where a horse has got a 6, a natural 6 on his card, for instance, Last Gunner here has got a speed of 6 there. And he's also got a finishing speed of 6, and he has a starting speed of 8. He's quite ridiculous. In those instances, instead of the normal red die, they have like a kind of elite version, okay, which has a higher, not only has the 6 instead of the 5 being the highest number, but the average on the die is higher. So obviously that horse at that type, at that movement type, is going to perform better. Is not going to have such a swing in its movement number. So Last Gunner here, who's got a speed of 8 at the beginning, is going to use this one here, and he'll use this one because this one always has to be used when you're using greens, and another green. So that makes up the 8. In fact, this is classed as a 6 rather than a 5. So it'll be a 6, 7, 8. And so Last Gunner at the start there will get 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. So he'll move 5 out of his possible 8 at that moment. Here he's moved 7. Okay, so you know he's not always going to go at his maximum rate. If he's just going on in the middle part of the race, well, this is a different thing. This is something that I'm also going to have to explain. In the first 2 furlongs and the last 2 furlongs, you will take the highest available colour die that you can to make up the number. For instance, Leroy Jenkins here with a 3 on gallop. If he's in the middle part of the race, he'll take the lowest version of the dice. So he'll take the 3 greens, always including that one there with the orange on it. If he's in the last 2 furlongs, the highest version he can have is the yellow 3. Okay, so there's a bit more spike in the early running and late running, a little bit more uncertainty, whereas through the middle of the race the horses are kind of galloping and lolling along, and so even though the averages are the same in essence of what it should be, it's harder to explain. The greens are more consistent, okay, overall, whereas the reds and yellows are more spiky in terms of their numbers, and that kind of is the equivalent of the sort of madness at the beginning of the race where the horses are bursting out of the box and they're all trying to jockey for position, not only on the board but in the terms of how they can sort of react to their own strengths in their numbers. And the same is true in the last 2 furlongs, where they're jockeying for that final push out off the last turn. They're not going to have just an easy like, let's roll the say he had a 5, a horse had a speed of 5, like Snoopy's Risk here, and he's in the last 2 furlongs. He's not going to roll the 5 1s. Okay, he's going to be forced to take the highest colored die he can, which is the spikier red D5. Okay, so for instance, he gets a 5 there. Okay, that's cool. And there he gets a 3. Whereas if he was rolling these fellas, yeah, he's got 3 there. But essentially, these are, when you're rolling the greens, you're kind of safer to get some numbers up. When you're rolling the reds and the yellows, there's a good chance you're going to underperform or overperform. So there's that balance there. So there's like a bell curve within a bell curve, essentially. All right, so how long have I been here? 21 minutes. So this is the new movement system, and we're going to explore this system together in this race, the first quarter final, with Mocha, Last Gunner, Snoopy's Risk, Miss Chocolate, Heartache Avenue, Night Flight, Acid Cat, Ixo Swan, and Lady Cinnabar. There's a good mix of horses here. The other thing is, as before, a lot of the rules haven't changed at all. With the apprentices, they will be forced to go wide if they can't pass, and they will be forced to use all of their movement if they're activated, and they'll also have 1 less defensive barrel in the lead. If a jockey result comes up, or if a horse is using its bonus barrels in any of its moves, it can still retain a barrel, 1 barrel, or it can have the choice himself of going wide, which is wide in the lane, not wide on the track, which is a different thing. There are 2 types of wides: wide where they kind of are on the track, and a wide kind of overall on the track. Perhaps I should have used a different term, when the horse, maybe just like overtaking or something, or just blocking. But I see the horse, say they're going around the bend together, and one horse is passing the other, but a bit wider than normal, and it sort of creates a kind of a shield to anyone behind, and that's kind of what these are. And whereas wide on the track down here is kind of overall, the horse is out there on the far side. Okay, so we'll stop that video there for the moment, and like I say, the plan here is we're going to run this race in the next video, and then I'm going to of course we've got 5 other races. I guess in the 5 or 6 races that we've got here coming up, I can clarify the instructions to the point where you won't really need the written instructions at the moment, as they're not completed. And then I will do a video on the charts, and I'll try to get the something that's principal up onto the community tab, where at the very least you'll be able to copy it, or you may be able to take a screenshot and print it, or something like that. I don't have a PDF writer program. I can't, as far as I know, I don't have a way to create PDFs. So I'm not sure how I'm actually going to distribute the game, other than the fact that I can take pictures of the various items, including the horses and things, and upload them onto the community tab, where you can then make copies or take photographs. In that way you'll be able to generate the game yourself. And as far as the track's concerned, it's basically 2 sides of A4, and what I'll do is I'll take a picture of each side, and you'll be able to, again, take a picture or whatever, or maybe print it, and then you can like attach it with tape underneath, and then you'll have a board. Or you can draw a board out. Yes, I've got a video in the history there about 6 months ago where I made the first game board for the game, and I think I explained how you could do it there. You could even use backs of playing cards just as positional markers, and just to get a feel for how things work. But as we go on here, I'm going to take everyone there along for the process. And again, thanks very much for following. And we're going to get through this process together. But I promise you, this system with these dice, it just came to me a while back, and I had it in notes in my book. And yesterday, I just started. I had all these stickers, and I was looking at the dice. I was thinking, you know what, I'm going to try this. And so the numbers on the cards related very well with the range of possible die moves, and so it builds in unpredictability, whereas before I felt like the horses were all moving to type, which is fine, which is what you want, but I just wanted a little bit more not randomness. I wanted a little bit more uncertainty built in, and so we're going to see how we go. And at the end of the day, you can either go with the old system, which is the set numbers and move them, or you can go with the variable numbers and move them, you know, because the horses have to move in some way. So there's two different systems essentially there now. All right, guys, thanks so much. Have a great day. I'm not sure when I'll post up the next video. I'm going to see how I get on later on this afternoon. Thanks so much, and yeah, have a good one. Bye.